Hello everyone! So this session we're going to look at doing the Gustav Klimt artwork but in a fully painted or fully coloured version. So if you don't want to use coloured papers and mixed media and you just want to do it all in one thing. So we're going to start off with doing the drawing and adding our patterns, and then we're going to go into colouring or painting that to finish the artwork. So we're going to start off with just drawing our figure onto the page. Now she is going to be not in the center of the page. We're just going to put her a little bit to the side here, about this area here. So you can just draw a line down your page so you know where you're going to put your figure, just off center. So we're going to just put a head up here. We're going to put a neck on underneath, and we've got her shoulders. Now she is slightly turned to the side, so we're not going to have it even. You can do it even though. We just want a head, neck and shoulders. Her arms are clasped in front of her chest, so we've got her arm coming down and her elbow and forearm coming up here. And then her two hands, so one hand is touching the other. This is her other hand here. And then her elbow and forearm just down here. Then her body is interesting because it's quite skinny, long, and looks a little bit wiggly. So we're going to come down from underneath her elbows here. And we're just going to do a wobbly line all the way down to the bottom of the page. Now she has got the most amazing hairdo, so give your lady a really cool swooshy big hairdo. And she's got a bit of a fringe coming over her face as well, so that's going to be put on there. That's part of her hair as well. Now we can put the features on the face, so we're going to put a nose in the middle there, eyebrow, two eyeballs and some lips. Now let's look at her clothes. She has got the most amazing jewellery on. She's got a big cuff around her neck, beautiful. And then she's got a beautiful dress, so we've got her shoulder straps coming down from her shoulders. Then the top of her dress. And it's got a cool band around the top as well. That's got a pattern in it. We're going to put the patterns in at the end. Now, also her dress, she's almost got like a cape on that comes down and out from her body on both sides. So we're going to take from the side of her arm, we're going to come down here and then swoop out to the side, a beautiful big cape. And the same on this side. The cape's going to come down and then just swoosh around outside her body. So she's got the most amazing Oscar award-winning gown here. In behind her there is some really cool patterns and prints. So we're just going to create some shapes. You can do whatever sort of shapes you want, but the main one you need to try and put in is a big sort of circle or a moon shape behind her head. And the rest of them you can just add some squares or other blocky shapes in behind, and each of these shapes is going to have more patterns in it. Now on this side they've actually got some more curvy shapes. So just create some shapes in the background poking out from behind your lady. That is the basic outline that we need. And now we are going to go ahead and start looking at some patterns. Have a little think about what is a pattern. A pattern is having a repeated shape that you see over and over again in the same area. So we see patterns all the time out in nature and around us. So we have patterns in our clothes, like this. We have patterns that we can see like a honeycomb, or cobblestones have got a pattern in them, bricks on a house. So you see a repeated shape and that creates a pattern. So you might have a pattern in your carpet or a pattern on your wallpaper. So it's looking around you and seeing what patterns that you can see. And we can choose some basic shapes that we can repeat to create our own patterns. Now I'm just going to show you a few simple shapes that Gustav Klimt used in his artwork to create patterns. So some of the shapes that he used quite often were swirls and spirals. So swirls and spirals were quite common in his artworks. So if you can incorporate some swirls and spirals into your patterns, that would be really cool. The other pattern that he used was this eye shape. So it's an eyeball shape, and sometimes it had the circle and the dot in the middle, and sometimes it just had the dot in the middle like that. So you can repeat this shape, these shapes, within your design as well. What other shapes can we repeat? Sometimes he would use a square, and he would repeat the square shape, and inside the square he might put another shape. So there might be a triangle inside there, or there might be a circle or a dot inside there. The other shape that he would use a lot is a circle. So you can just do lots of dots as a repeating pattern, or you can put the circle inside a square. The other shape that was quite common that he used was the triangle. So you can put the triangle inside a square, or you can just have the triangle as is and just repeat the triangle. So think about those shapes that we know: triangles, squares, ovals, hexagons, oblongs, and you can just use those and repeat those shapes within certain areas. So we could pick the spiral shape and decide to put that maybe in one area of our lady's dress, or we could choose to put the eyeball shape in one area. So we might choose the eyeball shape, and we're going to repeat that inside our lady's dress to create a pattern. So inside the lady's dress, we're going to draw some of these eyeball shapes. So we're going to start off with doing some spirals. So we're going to do some spirals in here. So we're going to do the same kind of spirally thing in here as well. Another pattern that we can use is like a grid. So we're going to do this in here. We're going to create a grid. So we're going to do some vertical lines and some horizontal lines across. And then inside the square, we're going to do another square. And the next box, we're going to do a circle. And we're going to repeat the pattern, because this is how we do this style, is that we look at repeating patterns within the shape. Okay, so this circle here and behind Our Lady, we're going to do a pattern of different sized ovals in here. Some of them little, some of them bigger. So Our Lady has got a lot of gold. If you do have gold, you can use gold. Otherwise, if you don't, you could use a yellow or a yellowy orange colour. Or you could cut your lady out and stick her on top of some silver tinfoil and put a little bit of yellow paint over the top just to give it a bit of a gold look. So we're going to just paint in the background with our gold. Lovely. There is our gold background. Now let's do our lady's hair. She's got black hair. And we'll do her skin. And we'll do the details of her face, so just the lines of her face. We're just going to use a black. You could do this with a pen after your paint is dry, if you would like. Now there is a lot of gold on top of gold, so you might need to make different golds. And to do that is whatever colour you're using for your gold, you can just add a little bit of something else, so a little bit of brown, a little bit of black, a little bit of orange, just to create a slightly different gold. Otherwise you can just go with a completely different colour. See, we have 3 different golds here, but for some of the other parts I'm going to show you using different colours, because you may not want to do it all the same colour like this, and you might want something a little bit brighter. Now you can see I'm just painting over my patterns here because I'm using paint. If you were using felts or something, you would just be colouring in the sections. And colouring in your patterns as you go, but if you're using paint, it can be easier to paint that background colour in and then go over afterwards and paint in the patterns. So now this is sort of dry, I'm going to go back in and add some of these other patterns here. And now we're going to move on to her lovely dress. Now as you can see, while I have used some different colours in my artwork, I'm sort of sticking with a bit of a theme. So you can see I've got different golds, I've got red, I've got a few different blues and white and black. So I'm sort of sticking to a bit of a colour palette. You can do that, or you can just go wild and use loads of different colours. But that's just sort of what I'm doing. So in here I'm going to use some of the colours that I've already got inside my main design here. And here is our final product. Isn't she gorgeous? All of those patterns and gold. So as you can see, we limited our colours, but you might know, you might have gone wild and used lots of bright colours. I can't wait to see how yours turned out. So please make sure you send through some photos. I would love to see your final artworks, and I hope you had fun doing this Gustav Klimt Women in Gold. See you next time. Bye!